Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sophia, if you guys don't know me. Before we get started on today's video, I want to give a little announcement that from today on I am going to be posting twice a week, every Wednesdays and Sundays at 6 p.m. European time, which is 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 9 a.m. for Western time. So for today's video, I am going to be talking a little bit about my experiences and thoughts about living in the East Coast and the West Coast. I hope this video helps some people that are deciding between like studying or working in those two places, and this is just to give you like a little insight. For today's video, I am going to be talking in English, but I am going to be putting subtitles in Chinese, as you guys can see right now. So let's just get started. So to give you guys a little introduction about me, I am an international student in the US and I have lived in the West Coast in Seattle for 4 years. The first 3 years I did high school, and then I did 1 year of my first year in college, and then I transferred to Boston University and I have been there for a year. Yeah, a year. Hello guys, this is editing Sophia right here. I just noticed that I have like a huge stain on my shirt, so let's just please ignore the fact that that's there. Sorry about that, and yeah, enjoy! For today's video, I kind of like broke it down in little like subsections. I'm going to be covering the topics of climate, lifestyle, city life, and culture / people in general. So we'll just get started. For climate, the West Coast is like really characterized for California, which has this amazing weather. As we all know, it's like sunny throughout the whole year, but that is completely different from Seattle, which is in the Pacific Northwest, like a little bit more up of California. And in Seattle, it's like rainy throughout the whole year. It rains like for 2 weeks straight, and there's like only like sunshine for like 1 or 2 days, and then it starts to rain again. So it's like really humid and rainy throughout the whole year. But in summer it's like pretty good weather, and that is the same as in Boston. Like summer is like pretty good weather, but during the fall, winter, springtime, it's so cold, and instead of raining, it snows a lot. It literally snows like 4 days in a week straight. But what I noticed, the difference between the two places is that in Boston, for example, if it snowed a day, like school would just be postponed for like 1 or 2 hours. Like they shove, I don't know what it's called, like they clean the snow really fast in the mornings. But in Seattle, if it like snowed, like the system is like not prepared for that at all. Like school will just be cancelled. So if you are a person who doesn't like precipitation in general, I would just not recommend any of the two places, Seattle or Boston. I'm going to be talking a little bit about the city life. So in the East Coast, I noticed that everything is like more compact, but the public transportation is really well built. Like as everyone knows, like in New York, you can literally take the subway from one end of the city to the other end in like an hour. But in the West Coast, like you literally need a car. The first thing I did when I went to Seattle was get my license and get a car. There's like no subways, and literally you would have to take a bus if you want to take public transportation. I do not recommend taking public transportation in the West Coast because I've had some bad experiences, and yeah, I do not recommend. Let's talk a little bit about the lifestyle. So in the East Coast, everything is like really fast paced, and there's this sense of like hustle and bustle. But in the West Coast, everything's like more like chill and laid back. In the West Coast, I feel like it's like more like naturey, and there's a lot of mountains and people enjoy like going hiking, that kind of stuff. But in the East Coast, it's more like city life, and it's more about like going into the city and just like having fun and that kind of stuff. So I feel like that's like a big difference between the two places. So in a nutshell, the East Coast is more like city life, and the West Coast is more like rural and nature and that kind of stuff. So now we are going to be talking about the culture and the people. So as we all know, due to history, the East Coast has been exposed to way more European cultures, and I feel like people in the East Coast are more open-minded to different cultures. I don't know if this happens to everyone, but what I experienced is that in the West Coast, there is like different cultures, but everything's like more closed up. And like, for example, people from one place, they just like hang out with their own people. I don't know if I'm like explaining myself really well, but everything's like more closed up as opposed to the East Coast. I feel like there's like more more variety, and there's like a mix of people, I feel like, in like a group. In terms of fashion, which I'm really interested about, is that I noticed that in the East Coast, people are more fashion driven, as opposed to the West Coast, people are focused more on like comfortability, I would say. And in Seattle specifically, I noticed that there's a really strong coffee culture, and that's because, fun fact, is that Seattle actually has the first ever Starbucks founded in Pike's Place, and I think also the biggest Starbucks in the US. It's also located in Seattle, in Capitol Hill. So if you guys go to Seattle, you should go visit those places. And I am going to be talking a little bit about like the schools and opportunities. So the main reason that I decided to go to the East Coast was because of the schools and opportunities that was there. Like, for example, in Massachusetts, the best schools in the US are located in Massachusetts, like MIT or Harvard. Although Boston University is not the best schools between all of those schools in Massachusetts, but because of the competition between those schools, Boston University really prepares you for the future. And I feel like because of the competition between the schools, Boston University actually has like a really high level, although it is not as high ranked as other schools. I actually also got into University of Washington, which is higher ranked than Boston University, but because I feel like there's more opportunities in Boston and in the East Coast, that is like the main reason that I decided to go there. And after talking to a lot of like professionals and just like counselors and stuff, they actually recommended me to go to the East Coast, which is one of the reasons that I decided to move all across the US. And I also wanted to like get new experiences and see like the differences between both places, and that is where this video is coming from. So yeah, and since I am Chinese, I am going to be comparing a little bit like the Chinatowns of both places. In the East Coast, Chinatown is so big. Let's just not talk about New York. It has like this whole area just as Chinatown, and I think there's like a lot of history in that. But let's just talk about Boston. Like Boston, Chinatown is actually already pretty big, and there's a lot of options for Chinese food. And also there's a lot of like private, I don't know how you say it, I'll just say it in Chinese, like 就是有很多微信私人可以加进去，他们可以就是点外卖啊，而且就是自己在家里做，你可以点。In the West Coast, in Seattle, Chinatown is really small actually, and there's not that many restaurants that I like to go eat at. I feel like, yeah, there's just not that many options. I'm not sure about California because I've only been there for like travel and stuff, but my sister lives there and she says that there's a lot of options. But my sister and I have been to New York together, and she said that it's just, you can't compare between the two. I think I covered everything today. I didn't really go like in depth into these topics, but if you guys want me to like talk about anything in more detail, just let me know in the comments down below. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and get excited for more videos every Wednesdays and Sundays. So I will see you guys in Wednesday's video. Bye!